Hello everyone, welcome to Rod's Repairs. Today I got a good one for you. You guessed it. Working on my Beckett Burner again. This one here is out in my garage. Basically, what I ended up doing is I came out, I had no heat. And I ended up replacing the electrodes and the nozzle. But I didn't make a video doing it, but I kind of wanted to give you a quick overview on how to do it. So this is what the burner is, an AFG burner. So I went to Sid Harvey's and I got the kit. It only comes with the electrodes. So, and it comes with this little gauge. And I ended up buying a new nozzle, which your burner will tell you what it needs. Mine was a 7580B, so I buy two of everything just so I have it on hand. This is just a kit, so I matched it up to make sure I was getting the right one. If you kind of see how I got it set up there, that's kind of how it looks on your gun. They call it a gun. So the electrode gap is going to be probably like that. They want the electrode sticking out an eighth maybe. If you see this line here to the end of the cardboard there, that's about the stick out they want. So gap looks like 5/32 for the electrodes, and then stick out is like a 16th or maybe an 1/8. It looks like. So that's the stick out, means that the electrodes are in front of the nozzle a little bit, and then they have to be so high too. So from the middle line to that line, they want them that high above the nozzle. So you kind of have to go like that to the center of the nozzle, but I'm going to show you how to do that in a bit. These weren't exact, but they were the exact same diameter, but mine on my old ones were a little longer, the porcelains, but that doesn't matter as long as they'll fit inside of there's like a bracket that holds them. So these screw in to these little guys, but on mine I had to cut. Mine were shorter. These pieces were shorter. So I ended up cutting probably 2 inches off of my rods here. These brand new rods need to be cut about right here in order to work in my burner. So what I want to do now is I'm going to pull the gun out of my burner here. I'm going to show you how easy it is. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel. So I came out, long story short, I came out no heat, and I haven't serviced this in a while. So the first thing I thought of was, okay, I'm just going to replace the nozzle and the electrodes, and then we'll go from there. So that's what I did. Worked fine. Worked fine for a whole day. And no big deal. Everything was good. But I came out on, so this is on a Friday. So I came out on Saturday and had no heat again. Oh boy. So I'm just grabbing some paper towel here, or Kleenex. So I had no heat on Saturday, and in the morning I'm like, man, this thing was running super sweet. So I didn't get all carried away and rip it apart again. So what happened was, the fuel oil barrel that's sitting outside, I think that the fuel oil got gelled up think I got a bad batch. Okay, what I'm doing here is I took this off. That was an 11, not a big deal. Caught a little of the fluid, and on this particular burner, there's a little ring here you gotta take off. No big deal. So you gotta take that off. And this is easy stuff, folks. Don't be afraid. This is, I mean, you ain't hurting anything. First thing, you know, make sure the power's off too. That's another thing. I turn the power off. Thermostat, even if you turn the thermostat down, it won't turn on, but you could disconnect it. This is the power. You could disconnect it right here. I got mine plugged into the wall, so I just pulled the cord. This is out in my garage, so it's not hardwired in. These little screws here, they just need to be turned just a titch because they just got like little fingers. And then this bad boy lifts up easy. Bring it down in here. This, okay, I took the nut off here, the retaining nut or whatever you want to call it. Then you just pull it, you know, pull it out of there and get this thing the hell out of here. Excuse my language. Okay, now just remember there's fluid in there, so I kind of like to just, oh, one-hander, sorry about that. I just like to pour out the fluid, and I want to show you the nozzle. I want to show you what's going on with this thing. That's what happens when you don't have a camera person. You look like a monkey effing a football. But alright, so here we go. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. This is easy peasy. So if you look, I'm just going to throw it down here. So you can see the gap. Okay, that's just pretty close. It's not perfect. So the gap between these three lines, that's the gap. So that's pretty dang close. You just want, you know, it's gotta be close. So you gotta make sure the gap's right, and then it's real critical the height, you know, they go from the center of the nozzle to the top of the electrode, to the tip. And you kind of got to get, you want to use this as your center line. So you put this line right at the very tip of your nozzle, and then you go from there to there. That's the height you want. So what I did is I went tip of the nozzle, kind of got to eyeball it, and as you can see, it's pretty close. Might be off a sliver, but it's close. So that's the height. And then to get the stick out, or I suppose you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, you have to, I use this line here, and I just went like, it's hard to do it like right here, but you have to, like that. I don't know if you can see that, but it has to be, but I use this line here, so you just have to make sure, I suppose if you come down here, if you can see the distance between the nozzle and the electrodes. You see that? Can you see it? It's not much. You have to kind of do it like, and of course they don't have it on both sides, but I kind of did it like that. So if you can picture, let's see, how about like that? There you go. So if you can see this line, look at this line right here. That's the distance that you want your electrodes to be. See that? It's pretty close. It's not 100%, but that's, you know, you're close. So now the reason why these electrodes need to be replaced is because if you look at the end of them, you know, you got the spark from there to there, from each electrode you're sparking. Well, it ends up wearing these tips out, and it'll bring it, you know, instead of being way out here, it like wears them down. So the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it won't fire. Or it'll fire, but it'll just run like total crap, and it won't burn right. So that's the time to replace the electrodes. I threw my old ones away so you couldn't see them. But here is the dealy bobs that I cut. So you can kind of see how much I cut off. So I cut off a couple inches in order for it to fit. So these are like universal. So if you do, you know, buy a kit, you're probably gonna have to cut, or you won't have to, you know. So in order to put them on, I just loosened this. Just loosened it enough to move this. I slid it out, put the new one in, did the same thing here, got it close, tighten it down, there you go. Now when I did my nozzle, I just put a wrench on here, I held it down, wrench on there, turned it out, screwed the new one in, tightened it up, done. Pretty simple. So let's put this nozzle back in, and we're gonna go outside and I'll show you. Oh great, I just got the camera sitting there. So this is how easy it is. So anyway, the scenario was I got it working again because I changed all this, and I went and got fuel oil because I'm running low. I just got a little 55 out. Or yeah, 50-gallon drum out back, and I went and got some because it was running low. So then that was on, I think I went and got it on Friday, because you don't want to run out. It's a pain in the butt. You gotta you know, or whatever you want to call it. You gotta turn, if you run out of fuel, you gotta like turn this bleeder screw until fluid comes out of the hose, which I put into the quart jug here, and then once it starts flowing good, then you shut that, you know, you turn the screw back off, and then it starts working. But yeah, you gotta bleed it, they call it. That's a pain in the butt, so you don't want to run out. So anyway, so I got fuel oil on Friday, so I didn't run out. And then Saturday, I came out and I had no heat. And yeah, okay, I was a little bummed, but I didn't freak out. I knew that it was running great on Friday. I got fuel oil Friday. So this is my thought. My thought, after I chilled out and thought about it, I was like, well, I'm guessing the fuel oil gelled up. I've heard of diesel trucks doing it. Why can't, you know? My barrel sits outside and it's really super cold right now. You want to cinch that little barrel nut up. So what I did was I put a bullet heater on my barrel, and then we're going to go outside here in about 2 seconds. I'm going to show you what I got. I put my bullet heater on there for 10 minutes. I propped up a piece of wood, so from the bullet heater to the tank here, just so to direct the heat, you know, keep the heat going in one direction. So propped it up, 10 minutes, came back in here. Actually, I did turn the bleeder screw, make sure that fluid was coming into here, which it was. It did sputter a little bit, you know, before fluid actually started flowing. So I knew right away that was probably the problem. I shut off the bleeder screw, and it fired. Ran shitty for a quick second, you know, because it was probably still had air in the lines or whatever, you know, because it's still got to come in through to the gun and then get through the nozzle. It ran shitty for a second. I was like, okay, and all of a sudden, bam, it cleared up. So that was the problem. And that's a scenario that could happen. So if you know, let's just say for instance, you had your Beckett burner serviced, which they recommend probably once a year, you know, be a good idea. Do the electrodes, do the nozzle, because I think it was about 30-40 bucks. It's just good insurance, you know. So let's just say scenario, you already did that and you came out your house or whatever and your barrel's outside. It's not going to gel obviously if the barrel's inside. So if your barrel's outside, there's a good chance it gelled up if it was running shitty and you already had it serviced and all this and that, and it was working fine the day before. So let's go outside. I'll show you what I did. Yeah, so that's the scenario, and you know, it saved me a big headache on ripping it all back apart, a big headache on you know, just not knowing. Shit, I could have worked on it for days, and all it was gelled fuel. So you never know what's gonna happen. But at Rob's Repairs, we tell you everything, you know. I tell you the good, tell you the bad. If you like the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna go up back now. I'm gonna show you what I got going. This is in real time, you know. I don't edit any of my videos, so this is what I ended up doing. I put the bullet heater right here. Put some wood, set it on here. Let all that heat get in, heated up the barrel, heated up the, you know, where the filter area was. And then I got copper line going into the garage. So what I ended up doing now, I forgot to snip these. I put this on, little foam, over the line to try to prevent freezing, but it's never happened. So I think I actually got bad fuel oil, you know, something. The number 2 or 1 or whatever they use for winter, they didn't put enough additive in it. So anyway, that's what I did. She works great. But I'm actually gonna make something here. I'm gonna put over this to protect it. Instead of, this is just temporary right now. I just thought I'd throw something on it, you know. But I'm gonna put like a box over this with some insulation, wrap it around it, and call that good. This fuel oil here, it's been sitting in there for a long time and it didn't gel up. It's freezing outside right now, so I do believe I got a bad batch of diesel, you know. So anyway, so then I put some of this additive in just for shits and giggles, because this helps it from gelling. So if you do have a barrel outside and, you know, shit, put some of that in there just to prevent. And it's just like getting bad gas, you know. If you get gas with water in it, you're going to use a little bit of heat, right? So this is my first scenario of having anything happen to my barrel gelling, you know. So anyway, hope you guys like the content. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Maybe share the video, comment, and hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.